Alright, well, Kaname got her Shikigami from Kakuju, and we rescued Sachi from the spider demon. But we don't have any other leads, so...
なあ、そこの人、この辺においしいまんじゅうがあるって話を聞いたことはないか？
うわ、大きい人。取っ
とるだけじゃろ。
しっぽうちゃん。あ、まんじゅう？私まだここに来たばかりだから。
そうか、知らんのか。お前のその顔、どこかで見たぞ。どこだったかな。
私はあなたを知らないけど、私を見たというのはどこで？
どこだったかな。ああ、そうだ、カササギの町だ。
でも私はカササギの町なんて知らないよ。町の名前自体初めて聞いたもの。
間違いない、カササギの町だ。お前のその顔見たんだ。
なんだか話を聞いてるだけで疲れてきちゃった。
Kasasagi, huh? Let's double check with Kaede.
ほほう、金兵衛がお前の顔をな。
うん、見たことがあるって。でも私カササギの町へなんて行ったことないのに。
やつは確かに食い意地の張った若者だが、少なくとも嘘をつく男ではないからの。
そうなんだ。なんだか気になるな。
そんなに気になるのならカササギの町へ行ってみたらよかろ
う。そうね。どのみちここにいてもやることはなさそうだし、町でなら四魂のかけらの話も聞けるかもしれないわ。四魂のかけらってあの雲の妖怪が持っていたキラキラ光る石のことだよね。ええ、そうよ。でもそうは言っても町まで一緒に行ってもらうのはちょっと気が引けるな。そんな気にしなくてもいいのよ。でも私やっぱり足手まといだし。足手まといだなんて。
おい、いつまでグダグダ話してんだよ。カササギの町まで行くんならとっとと出かけようぜ。
犬夜叉、それは一緒に行ってもいいってこと？
勘違いすんなよ。あくまでも四魂のかけらを探すついでなんだからよ。
犬夜叉、ありがとう。 見てなさい、返り討ちよ。はい。
Huh. I don't recall any part of the English version of the game where Kaname makes mention of Kaede.
かごめちゃん、行くよ。式神よ、秘めたる力を。行くわよ。今解き放て。行け。やったー。なかなかやるわね、かごめちゃんこそ。
かかってきやがれ。
Encounter rates in this game sure are a thing.
よし。くらえ。非人ゲスト。もらった。口ほどにもねえやつらだな。
いいもの見つけちゃった。見てなさい、返り討ちよ。なんのこれしき。大丈夫。見ておれ。くらどうじゃ、オラたちの力思い知ったか。いいもの見つけちゃった。不意打ちよ、みんな気をつけて。
しゃらくせえ。
どうってことないもん。はい。式神、お願い。やったー。オラか。おりゃー。しっぽちゃんやるわね。
しゃあ。てやれ。もらった。 そんな奴ら束になっても敵じゃねえぜ。かかってきやがれ。
行くぞ。楽勝じゃったな。口ほどにもない奴らじゃの。
あいつらまだ気づいてねえみてえだな。
ほらか。見ておれ。どうじゃ、オラたちの力思い知ったか。
Pretty sure this is the wrong way anyway, so... Of course when I go to turn back. God damn it, cannons.
見てなさい、返り討ちよ。
しゃあ。くらえ。鬼神結晶。もらった。俺たちとやり合うなんて10年早えぜ。かかってきやがれ。
よし。式神よ、行け。やった。行くぞ。爆雷術。はい。負けないわよ。乱れ打ち。やった。
よし。よっしゃーってくそ。
どうしたの、犬夜叉。大丈夫。よし。式神、お願い。やった。私たちが負けるわけないよね。
Damn it, I was going the right way the first time. Ugh, I always lose myself in here.
盛るホムラよ、怒りの刃となれ。やった。見ておれ、爆雷術。
よし。往生しやがれ、鬼神結晶。もらった。俺たちとやり合うなんて10年早えぜ。
倒すわよ、絶対。
しゃあ。くらえ、鬼神結晶。もらった。口ほどにもねえやつらだな。
倒すわよ、絶対。よし。我慢できるはず。行くぞ。どうじゃ、オラたちの力思い知ったか。いいもの見つけちゃった。
There we go.
ここがカササギの町よ。この辺では一番大きな町で、旅に必要なものも大抵は売ってるわ。
そのくせジュースは売っておらんのじゃ。
んなもん売ってるわけねえだろうが。それにしてもここは人がいっぱいだな。
そうね。これじゃあ手分けをして聞いて回った方がいいかもしれないわね。
ああ、こんなところでいちいち話を聞いてたら日が暮れちまうぜ。
じゃあ話を聞いてここに戻ってくればいい？ええ、町は広いから迷わないように気をつけてね。
I wonder. No. Okay. So Kakuju is really only here at a
い
specific
いもの見
moment.
つけちゃった。
Alright, that's good to know.
?んなんじゃね お前さんの顔どこかで見たの？
私をどこかってどこなの？
その顔どこかで見たような。手配者の娘だ。
嘘。
お役人様、お役人様、手配者の娘がいます。よし、捕まえろ。逃がすな、それ。
手配書の娘だな。こっちへ来てもらおうか。
やめて。痛い。乱暴にしないで。
ほほう、確かに手配書の娘じゃ。
ちょっと待ってよ。
なんじゃ。
これ人違いだと思います。だって私何もしてないもの。この世界にだって来たばかりだし。
この世界？お前は何を言っとるのじゃ。
それはとにかく私は捕まるようなことなんてしてないんです。
じゃが確かに神楽様はお前を捕らえろと言っておられるのじゃ。
神楽って誰なんですか？私はそんな人知りません。
お前が知るわけなかろう。神楽様は城から来られた使者様なのじゃからな。
そんな、それじゃあきっとその人が間違ってるんです。
お前気は確かか？使者様が間違う？考えられん、ありえん話じゃ。おかしなことを言う娘め、神楽様がおいでになるまでしばらく牢屋に入っとれ。神楽様が来るまでここでおとなしくしていろ。
庄屋さんは神楽様がどうとかって言ってたけど、なんで私が捕まらなくちゃいけないの？それも牢屋にまで入れられるだなんて。愚痴ってても始まらないよね。とにかくここを出なくちゃ。でもどうやって？この壁の色、もしかしてジャモンガン？
燃え盛るホムライ。や
ったー！早くカゴメちゃんたちと会わなくちゃ。よかった、来たわよ。
おい、大丈夫だったか？
うん。
お前の手配書が町中に貼られておったから心配しておったのじゃ。
そうなの。そのせいで庄屋さんに捕まってしまって。 やっぱりそうだったのね。でも無事でよかったわ。
それにしても一体どういうことなんじゃろう。なんで手配書なんてものが。
うん、神楽って人が持ってきたみたい。
なんだと？神楽だと？
神楽というのはあの神楽のことじゃろうか。
知ってる人？お城から来た使者だって言ってたけど。うん。紫紺のかけらの話は覚えてる？妖怪が使うと強くなれるってあれだよね。そう。それを狙ってる妖怪に奈落っていうたちの悪いやつがいるのよ。たちの悪い？
人をいじめて喜ぶような嫌なやつなんじゃ。
ああ、今まで何度も戦ってきたが卑怯な手ばっかり使う最低の野郎さ。
そう。それでね、神楽はその奈落の分身なの。分身ってことはその神楽も嫌な人なの？
ああ、風と死体を操るいけすかねえ女さ。
そうなんだ。でもそれがどうして私のことを？手配書まで使ってあなたを探しているところを見ると、もしかしたらあなたがこの世界に来たことと関係があるのかも。
そうじゃな。いかにも奈落のやりそうなことじゃ。
とにかく神楽がここに来てるんなら放っとくわけにはいかねえな。
うん、私もどういうことなのか知りたい。
よし、じゃあその庄屋の家とやらに行ってみようぜ。
Alright, time to translate this content that I only saw in the English playthrough of this because I never knew it was here! Hi, Kakuju! Let's just...
おう、お前さんか。源氏じゃったかの。
Alright. In the English version, Kakuju says, "Oh, it's you. Have you been well?" Let's see. Off of this screenshot, Kakuju apparently says, "Oh, it's you. How are you?" Let's just double check from the text. Yeah, same as the screenshot translation. Just gonna...
お人形？
And here, Kurugi asks if Kakuju is holding... asks, "Is that a doll?" From the screenshot translation, Kurugi is asking, "A doll?"
そうじゃ。これはな、お守りの人形なんじゃよ。
It's a mention of Omamori. In the English version, Kakuju says, yes, it's a protection doll. From the screenshot translation, Kakuju says, that's right, this is a lucky charm doll. Let's just grab the text real quick. Okay, from the text, it's, Kakuju says, that's right, this is a talisman doll. I mean, pretty much the same thing. Kururugi just being impressed.
お守りを作ってどうするんじゃ？
Let's see. In the English version, Shippo asks, what do you do with it? While from the screenshot translation, Shippo asks, what are you going to do with making a charm? Let's try the text. Same result. Alright.
各地の祠に収めて回るんじゃよ。
Honestly, I think Shippo's could be reworded to, what are you making a charm for? Let's see, in the English version, Kakuju responds with, you place them all around the shrine. From the screenshot translation, Kakuju responds is, you'll go around and place them in shrines all over the place. Just gonna grab the text real quick. The text result is, you'll have to go around and place them in shrines all over the place. I think the translation result could be reworded for Kakuju to say, I'm going around and placing them in shrines all over.
So すると強くなれんのか?
Let's see. In the English version, InuYasha says, and then you can become stronger? From the screenshot translation, InuYasha saying, does that make you stronger? Let's just double check the text. Interesting. From just the text, the InuYasha is apparently saying, are you somehow strong? I do think the screenshot result of, does that make you stronger? Works in that sense. Or... the text translation of, are you somehow strong, could also make sense, because if, as old as Kakuju is, if he's traveling around placing the charms, like, he'd have to be pretty strong to contend with any demons he comes across, right?
そういうわけではないんじゃがな。
Let's see what this says then in response. In the English version, Kakuju responds with, that's not the reason why. But from the screenshot translation, Kakuju's response is, that's not the case. which could work for either translation result from InuYasha of does doing this make you stronger, or are you somehow strong? The former being like, no, placing the charms doesn't make you stronger. Or if InuYasha is asking whether or not Kakuju is actually pretty strong, Kakuju probably being a bit more humble, saying, no, not particularly. The text translation result comes out the same.
くだらね
Let's see. In the English version, InuYasha just scoffs. Huh, that's pretty useless then. From the screenshot translation result, InuYasha's response is, ugh, that's stupid. Let's see what the text result says. From the text translation, InuYasha's reaction is, ugh, that's pointless. Okay, the only reason I could imagine this response from either result would be InuYasha asking if placing the charms makes him stronger. Because saying it's pointless or it's stupid to Kakuju saying that no, he's not particularly strong just doesn't exactly make sense.
InuYasha, 失礼でしょ?
At least in context. Let's see. What does this one say? In the English version, Kagome reacts with, InuYasha, how rude. From the screenshot translation, Kagome reacts with, InuYasha, that's rude. I don't think the text translation will be too different. Let's see. Yeah, same as the screenshot result, just being, that's rude.
まあまあいいんじゃよ。わしはお前さんたちみたいに若くはないからな。
I honestly could almost imagine, like, from the translation result, that the translation result could be reverted to InuYasha, you're being rude, or don't be so rude. Either one could work. Let's see, in the English version, Kakuju responds with, that's okay. You see, I'm not young like all of you anymore. Let's see. From the screenshot translation, Kakuju says, well, it's okay. I'm not as young as you guys. I might reword that a little. Just let's. Let's see. Right?
祈ることで誰か一人でも幸せになってくれたら嬉しいんじゃがな。
In the English version, Kakuju continues here with, I'll be glad if even one person becomes happy because of my prayers. From the screenshot translation, Kakuju continues with, if prayer can make even one person happy, I'm happy about that. Let's see what the text does when I add it. Okay, that's not too bad. From the text result, putting both halves of Kakuju's dialogue here together, it comes out as, well, it's okay. I'm not as young as you guys. I'd be happy if my prayers could make even one person happy. And that's it! But yeah, no, that actually adds a lot of character depth to Kakuju. Considering I think I know who he's making those charms for. And why he's going around placing them in shrines. I know why he's going around. So, little interesting.
あの、庄屋さんに会いたいんですが。
ん？どこかで見た顔だな。まさか手配書の娘。
まずいよ、また捕まっちゃう。とりあえず町の外れまで逃げるのじゃ。危うかったぞ。
なんで俺が逃げ回らなきゃなんねえんだよ。
だって相手は人間なんだもの。戦うわけにはいかないでしょ。
俺はそうだけどよ。
それにしてもこのままじゃ神楽には会えそうもないわね。
どうしたもんじゃろか。
それなら私を捕まえてくれない？え？さっきの様子だと私を捕まえたといえば庄屋さんの家までは簡単に入れると思うよ。
そうか、わしらが町人に化けてお前を捕まえたと言って堂々と乗り込むのじゃな。それはなかなか大胆じゃの。
でもちょっと危険じゃないかしら。
ああ、相手の本拠地に乗り込むのにこいつじゃ危なっかしいしな。
だけどさ。
まあ待てよ。おいしっぽ、お前こいつに化けろ。
なんじゃと？
ちょっと待ってよ。
お前なら縛られようと牢屋に入れられようといざって時には抜け出せるだろ。
なんだかまた貧乏くじを引かされとる気がするぞ。
それは明暗かも。しっぽちゃんの術ならきっと誰も見破れないし。
おお、この役はしっぽにしかできねえよな。
本当か？
だからお願い、しっぽちゃん。
そういうことならほら頑張るぞ。
それにしても本当にそっくりに化けたわね。
And yet, even though I mentioned last stream how the thing with Shippo and, let's face it, fox demons in Japan in general, when they transform, their big flaw is they always have their tails visible somehow. That gives them away. And yet, Shippo is able to transform into Kaname and Mitru completely flawlessly. Which, yeah, impressive enough. since I noticed that there is no torso underneath that kimono top, it just throws me off every time because I can see the other side of the body. I wish this game was more polished. I really do.
そうか？これならバレたりせんじゃろうか。
ここまで来て何ビビってんだよ。
怖がってなんておらんわい。さあ、行くぞ。
それじゃあしっぽちゃんお願いね。じゃあ犬夜叉はここで待ってて。
おう、何かあったらすぐ俺を呼べよ。
ねえかごめちゃん、なんで犬夜叉は変装しないの？
So when I translated this section last year on Kagome's romance route, they're discussing, or Kururugi is wondering why InuYasha just doesn't transform himself into a disguise to get past the guards and whatever, and not cause a hassle.
犬夜叉にそんな器用な真似できないわよ。
In the English version, Kagome just says that InuYasha can't do it as well as Shippo can, implying that InuYasha does have the ability to transform, but just not as proficient in it as Shippo is. But in Japanese, she says that InuYasha would just get himself caught if he tried.
何しろ単純なやつじゃからな。
In the English version, Shippo says that it's because InuYasha is a half-demon. But he doesn't say Hanyo in the Japanese version. Instead, Shippo says that it's because InuYasha is too thick-skulled and stubborn. In short, saying that InuYasha prefers to take the brute force measure.
まあ犬夜叉は変装してもバレそうだし、あの方がいいんじゃない？それはそうだね。
Lindsay Harvey, thank you for the follow. Welcome in.
ここは庄屋様のお屋敷だぞ。一体何の用だ？
How are you doing?
手配書の娘を捕まえたので、庄屋様にお届けに来ました。
I'm in Taku's Discord self promo. Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Are you a fan of InuYasha at all? Can't stay for long though. No worries.
なるほど。手配書の娘だな。中に入ってお知らせで待っていろ。
意外とあっけなかったわね。うん、すんなり通れてよかった。
I just need to double check this one. I own this game on PS2, but I won't say I'm a fan. Do you enjoy this game at least? If you own it. Not against InuYasha though. Let's see. Yeah, that's not the one I was thinking. I liked the game, but I'm pretty sure I didn't finish it.
全部オラの名演技のおかげじゃぞ。
I do think you should at least get to the ending of the game at least once. Just, like, considering you like the game, even though you're not big on InuYasha. Personally, I really do enjoy this game. And when I first played it, I was pretty big into InuYasha, but over the last few years, I have started to not like the series as much, but I do still prefer the game over the original series. So take that as you will. That I'm saying I prefer the game's story over the source material in the anime, but depending on how you feel about the InuYasha series, it, like, mileage may vary with the game. There we go. Okay, this was another part that absolutely blew my mind compared to the English version. In the English version of this game, at this point, Kururugi says, "You really, great going, Shippo. You really had them tricked." But here, Kururugi is saying just what you'd expect from a tanuki. Actually, I'm gonna just grab this to double check because I want to be sure. I know she said tanuki. I know they said tanuki, and that is a big thing. Yeah. Okay. So the translation for this is from Kururugi is Shippo is really amazing. He really is a tanuki. Shippo's response. The most deadpan. I'm a fox. In the English version, they completely changed the context here due to changing the dialogue. As mentioned in the English version, Kururugi's like, "Nice going, Shippo, you really had them tricked." In the English version, Shippo responds with a very enthusiastic, "Oh yeah!" But here, it's even better because it shows that Kururugi's not too familiar with yokai, so mistakes Shippo, a fox demon, for a tanuki. But that's also a pretty common thing in Japanese folklore of confusing tanuki and kitsune because they have the same ability to transform. Tanuki are just generally better at it. So having Kururugi say that Shippo really is a tanuki, like really is a tanuki, and then Shippo just giving the most deadpan, "I'm a fox, you idiot," is really good. And I am a little disappointed the English version didn't try to keep that. But I do understand they probably were thinking like, there's no way the English audience would understand that. Because that was around when Japanese folklore and stuff just wasn't common in the West. But I still love it. The exchange in Japanese is just so good.
奈落の使っている毒虫よ。あれがいるってことはやっぱり神楽って。
奈落の分身の神楽に間違いないじゃろうな。
最妙将がいるとなると私たちのこともきっとバレてるわね。
そうじゃな。やっぱりじゃ。
So this is something that I love pointing out every time I do this section of the game, or if I see anyone else on this section. Just make a note of where the two versions of Kaname are standing. The one in the green is actual Kaname, and the one in the uniform is Shippo as Kaname.
最妙将が飛んでくのが見えたんで後を追ってきたんだが、やっぱり思った通りだったな。くせえ、雑魚妖怪ども。 登場しやがれ鬼神決闘。
行くぞ爆雷術。よし式神お願い。やった。
Nice crit.
やった私たちの勝ちだね。助かった。追い詰められた時はどうなっちゃうかと思った。
All of a sudden, the Kaname that was in the green kimono got changed into Shippo. Lazy game devs, but eh. Like I said, game definitely could have used a lot more polish.
まああんなのは雑魚だけどな。それより西明将が現れたとなると待ってても仕方ねえぞ。
そうね。西明将は奈落や神楽の目と同じだから。それって西明将に見られたら奈落や神楽にも知られちゃうってこと？そう。だからもう私たちのことは神楽にはバレてるでしょうね。じゃあもう屋敷の中に突入するしかない？そんな無茶なと言いたいところだけど、それしかなさそうね。
そうこなくちゃ。ほらほらどかねえと怪我するぜ。
犬夜叉のやつなんだかやけに嬉しそうじゃな。
それは暴れるのが生きがいみたいな人だもの。
But I think with that, we're gonna go for a quick break. And we're back.
あれは庄屋さん？
お助け。
さっきはよくもと言いたいところだけど、なんだか様子が変ね。
ああ、妖怪に囲まれとるしな。
ちょっと待って、今助けてあげるから。
Oh, never mind. That's a stat up. I thought that was I thought it was going for a heal, and I was about to say you haven't even taken any damage yet. Uh-oh. And sealed. Shit. Well, I don't have any AoEs. I just. Never mind. I have one now. Thanks for that, you stupid bird. That doesn't. Okay. I was about to say, if that didn't kill, I could just have Kaname use purification to heal everyone.
オラのおかげじゃな。
助かりました。あんな目に遭わせたのに、なんとお優しい人だ。
それはもういいけど、一体どうしてこんなことに？
あの神楽という女に騙されたのでございます。まさか城の使者が妖怪だとは。
神楽か。奴は一体どこにいるんだ？
この先でございます。あの女め、わしを妖怪の餌にしようと。
の先か。よし行こうぜ。
ここは危ないから庄屋さんはどこかで隠れてて。いいもの見つけちゃった。
見つけたぜ神楽。やっぱりお前だったんだな。
なんだか騒がしいと思ったらお前たちだったのかい、InuYasha。
あなたが神楽なのね。なぜ私を捕まえさせたりしたの？
ほう、お前がその娘かい。なるほどね。
私をこの世界に呼んだのはあなたなの？そうなら私を元の世界に返してよ。
返す？面白いことを言うね。なんで私がそんなことしなきゃいけないんだい？
相変わらずいけすかねえやつだな。切り刻んでやるから覚悟しやがれ。
やれやれ、相変わらず野蛮なことだね。
Oh, this is gonna be so easy. Please let this one shot. It'd be so funny.
逃がしゃしねえぞ。わくれや。
I don't think it will, but that would be hilarious if it did.
もらった。
Ah, okay. Well, at least it'll make her waste a turn.
見ておれ。爆雷術。参ったか。
屍舞い。
はい。
You don't have any energy, do you? Oh, yes, you do. Sure, why not?
行くわよ。うん、わかった。お願い、式神。任せて。やったー。やるではないか、カゴメ。
おし。
Oh, she's still not dead. Okay, I thought that would have done the job. I mean, in that case...
くらえ。風の傷。もらった。
There we go.
私としたことが油断した。
往生しやがれ神楽。
待ってInuYasha。神楽に手配書のことを聞かないと。
おっと、そうだったぜ。なんだこれは。
これは式神？うつぎか？
式神？そういえば私のと似てる。でも大きさが全然違う。
奈落の命令で助けに来たのか。礼は言わないよ。
てめえ、邪魔しやがると容赦しねえぞ。
気をつけて犬夜叉。こいつ単なる妖怪とは違う気がするわ。
けっ、何者だかは知らねえが、邪魔をするやつは叩き切るだけだ。くらえ、風の傷。
無駄なことよ。
So that's what female Utsugi sounds like. Hmm.
バカな、俺の風の傷を
簡単に弾き返しおったぞ。
今度はこちらの番。揺らめく炎。
無理しないで犬夜叉。違う。
かすり傷だ、このくらい。
お前の血、きれいね。沈みゆく夕日のよう。
I can get behind that voice. Sounds pretty good.
てめえ何言ってやがる。
すごい。今のも式神の力なの？あなたは一体。
お前がそうなのか、娘。
私のこと？何それって、どういうことなの？
ちきしょ、どきやがれ。
なるほど。神楽、今回の目的は果たした。帰るぞ。わかったよ。
おい、待ちやがれ。
宇津木？犬夜叉を子供みたいに扱うなんて。でもあの人なら何か知ってるかも。
おお、やっつけてくださったのですな。
Alright, now to get ready to check for a certain part that I've been looking to try and translate, because it is a gender-specific bit that Kaname has compared to Michiru.
うるせえな。見てわかんねえのかよ。逃げられたんだよ。
そうカリカリするものじゃないわ。庄屋さんも被害者なんだから。
そう言っていただけると助かります。わしもまさか城からの使者があんな妖怪だとは思わず、あなた様には本当に申し訳のないことを。
うん、悪いのはあの宇津木と神楽だろうから。もう気にしないで。
おお、なんと寛大な、まるで天女のようなお方だ。
Okay. So that is interesting. For context, on Michiru's side, or so far on both sides, the headman is apologizing for how he treated Kururugi prior to this. And Kururugi's response is like, everything's fine, like Utsugi and Kagura are the ones that are at fault, because you were also at risk. Specifically for Michiru, though, the headman remarks on how forgiving Michiru is and compares him to Buddha. And the translation of the Japanese text is pretty similar. For Kaname, on the other hand, in English, he calls her an angel. I had an issue with that because Shinto and Buddhism doesn't really have angels. So I was curious what he'd say in Japanese. Because if he said Tenchi, then it would be pretty much, yeah, angels. But he doesn't. He says Tenryo. So let's see what that translation is. In the English version, the headman says, "Oh, you're so forgiving. You're such an angel." Here we go. According to the translation off the screenshot, the headman says, "Oh, how generous. She's like a heavenly maiden." Yeah, I guess if you're trying to localize that for the West, the closest thing you'll get is an angel, but given cultural context, a heavenly maiden is definitely more appropriate. I don't think... I'm trying to think of what exactly that would equate to. Let's see. What's that? Here we go. Tenyo. Surprisingly on yokai.com. Let's see. You are extraordinarily beautiful creatures who resemble human women, aside from their unparalleled grace and elegance and supernaturally attractive faces and figures. There's a little way to differentiate them from ordinary women. They wear beautiful gowns called hagoromo, literally feather cloth, which allow them to fly. Servants and courtesans for the Emperor of Heaven, and companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay. Tenyo are a female-only subgroup of Tenin, one of many celestial races native to Tendo. They're based on the Indian Apsaras, celestial nymphs from Hindu and Buddhist mythology. Brought to China from India along with Buddhism, where they developed into the Tenyo we know today. The Chinese Buddhist Tenyo was later brought over to Japan. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, no, going with something for Kaname that still related to Buddhism in a way. Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. Alright.
それはちょっと言い過ぎな気もするぞ。
And then Shippo is just like, I think she's laying it on a little thick.
いいじゃない。優しいのは本当なんだし。
But then Kagome's like, but it's true, you really are a kind person. This is to both Michiru and Kaname. So, established, Michiru and Kaname are both incredibly kind people.
ありがとう、かごめちゃん。なんだか嬉しいな。
And then, yeah, both of them respond with, thanks, Kagome. That's very nice of you to say.
それにしても、うつぎと神楽のあの口ぶり。どうやら、あなたがこの世界へ来たことと奈落は無関係じゃなさそうね。うん。でも、せっかく目の前にいたのに聞き出せなかった。がっかりしないで。きっとまた機会はあるわ。
そうじゃ。どうせ奈落はオラたちを放っておいてはくれんのじゃし。
まあそういうことだな。次は必ず決着をつけてやる。
それじゃあ一旦楓おばあちゃんの村に戻りましょう。
皆様お待ちくだされ。
庄屋じゃねえか。なんだよ一体。
わずかではございますが、これをお受け取りくだされ。お詫びと感謝の気持ちでございます。
え、お金？
And another case of Kururugi being rewarded money.
おお、結構な額じゃな。これだけあれば団子がたくさん買えるぞ。
でも
And again, the absolute modesty of being like, I don't deserve this money, like, I shouldn't take it. Which, on one hand, sure, it's not like Kururugi really helped anyone this time, like with Sachi. Although, technically, yes, by dealing with Kagura and the demons that she had brought.
いいじゃねえか、もらっときゃ。
But, once again, Kururugi needs to be pushed into accepting it. Because
そうね、気持ちのいいお金だし、いただいてもいいと思うわ。
in this case, it's less a form of reward and more a form of apology because, yeah, the headman needs to, should apologize in some way for getting us captured and locking us up.
それじゃあいただきます。ありがとう、庄屋さん。
And now it's time for the actual juicy part to come in. And for me to actually get down to translating proper. Because gang's all here.
Yeah, Kagome-sama.
Right. Don't need to translate this part. But Miroku, of course, does have a unique interaction if you're playing as Kaname as opposed to if you're playing as Michiru.
弥勒様、サンゴちゃん、帰ってたのね。ついさっき着いたところさ。
二人とも遅かったじゃねえか。
そういうな、InuYasha。こっちも大変だったのだ。時にその娘は。
あ、うん。この子は私と同じ現代から来たのよ。へえ。
And already this is where it starts to deviate from Michiru a little. This one's pretty simple. It's just Sango just kind of going like, huh, because, oh no, it's another girl and Miroku.
こんにちは。
And then it's just Kururugi introducing
か
himself
ごめちゃん、この人たちはお友達？
and asking if these two are friends of Kagome's.
うん。この二人は弥勒様とサンゴちゃん。弥勒様は法力を使える奉仕様で、サンゴちゃんは妖怪の退治屋さん。二人とも一緒に奈落を追っている仲間なの。へえ、そうなんだ。 よろしくね。
こちらこそよろしくお願いします。
And here we go. In the English version, Miroku says, "It's my pleasure," after Kaname introduces herself and says, "It's nice to meet you." Let's see, from the screenshot translation. I don't know, that translation doesn't look... it looks like it's missing a little. From the screenshot translation, Miroku is apparently just saying thank you very much. But let's check the text. And according to just the text, he's just saying, nice to meet you. I mean, given it's Miroku, I wouldn't doubt something along the lines of, it's my pleasure, but given it's also Miroku and he is pretty cordial, him saying it's nice to meet you too would also make a fair bit of sense.
よろしく。
And then Songo's also saying nice to meet you too.
こやつはこう見えても式神という不思議な力を使えるのじゃ。
おほう。
Shibo pointing out that Kaname can use Shikigami, much to Miroku's, which impresses Miroku.
そう言われるとなんだか照れちゃうな。
Though, again, Kaname being incredibly modest, saying, it's really not much. But then... Classic Miroku.
時に娘さん。
In the English version, Miroku approaches Kaname and says, "Excuse me, miss?" While, according to the translation from the screenshot, I am not going to try that one, because that looked very incorrect. Okay, the text actually came out a bit better. It is unfortunately translating Musume-san as daughter, but the translation result should be, by the way, miss.
はい。
And then Kaname, of course, just being confused, wondering, what's going on? In the English version, Kaname questions, yes? From the screenshot translation, she responds with, oh, yes? I'll just throw it to the text translator for the hell of it, just in case. Text translator has it come out as, huh? Yes?
私の子を産んではくれぬか。
And there we go. Nope, hold up. In the English version, Miroku asks, "Will you be the mother of my children?" From the translation of the screenshot, Miroku asks, "Will you give birth to my child?" Let's just throw the text in, just as a double check. Same result. Will you give birth to my child? And of course, Kaname just like, I am sorry, what?
Miroku-sama.
I'm not gonna throw that in translator. It's just Kagome doing the whole... Miroku, could you not?
真に受けちゃいかんぞ。弥勒のやつ、女子には皆同じことを言うんじゃ。
Let's see, from Shippo. In the English version, Shippo says, "Don't take him seriously. He says the same thing to all the girls." From the screenshot translation, Shippo is apparently saying, "Don't take him for granted. Miroku says the same thing to all women." Not too sure about the whole "don't take him for granted." I do think the text result does come out the same. But again, I do think the "don't take him for granted" doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, because usually taking something for granted means that you took it lightly. So, considering they're remarking on, or Shippo saying how Miroku says this to every woman that he comes across, the English versions "don't take him seriously" would be better than "don't take him for granted," and then just Miroku says the same thing to all women. Like, yeah.
So.
In the English version, Kaname's response is, "Really?" From the screenshot, the translation result has Kaname responding with, "Right." I do think it could also come out as, I see. The text result, though, is still coming out as, "Right." But again, still comes off as Kaname acknowledging what Shippo's saying and being like, "Yeah, I'll keep that in mind." And then, of course, classic Miroku and Sango interaction. Every time something like this happens. Let's see. In the English version, Sango steps in with, "Excuse me." The screenshot translation apparently has Sango saying a little bit, which doesn't make sense. I think it should be, yeah, okay. One moment. So the text translation has Sango responding with, "Hey." But I do think it could work being translated as, "Hold on." Just kind of with Sango interjecting like, "You wait a moment." But, speaking of waiting just a moment, I'll be right back real quick. Sorry about that.
Hi.
Let's see here. In the English version, Kaname here responds with, "Yes?" Which does look to be what the translation for here is coming out to. Yeah, pretty much like, yes? Because Kaname thinks Sango's addressing her.
奉仕様、調べてきたことを話さないといけないんじゃない？
When, of course, she's talking to Miroku. In the English version, Sango says, Miroku, shouldn't we tell them what we found out? Okay, yeah, the translator has an issue with the whole Hoshi-sama thing. They can apparently never really translate that correctly. Off of the screenshot, it's translating Sango's dialogue as, Reverend, don't you think I should tell you what I've researched? What it should be is, Monk, don't you think we should tell them what we've discovered? The text translation result is closer by having Hoshi-sama start as Monk, because that's the thing with Sango in the Japanese version of the series. She rarely ever refers to Miroku by his name. She pretty much always calls him Hoshi-sama because that's his title, Monk. That's just what he is. She doesn't have enough respect for him to call him by his name. So off of the text translation, it comes out as, Monk, don't you think I should tell you what I've researched? So again, just should be reworded to, don't you think we should tell them what we've discovered?
おっと、そうでした。
In the English version, Miroku just responds with, oh, yes. From the screenshot translation, Miroku instead says, oops, that's right. Let's see, taking the text, Miroku says, oh, that's right. And then we pretty much go back on track to what both Michu and Kaname have to deal with.
はっきりしたことが分かったわけじゃないのですが、城でいろいろと怪しいことが起きているようです。
Being that they were trying to track down Naraku.
怪しいってどういうこと？
おや、あなたも気になりますか？
ええ、私がこの世界に来たことも奈落が関係しているらしいから。
神楽と宇津木のあの口ぶりからするとどうも間違いなさそうね。
Honestly, though, Kagome bringing up Utsugi's name with Miroku and Sango present does seem a little weird because, like, they only just encountered Utsugi themselves. How would they even discern that Miroku and Sango would know who Utsugi is? Granted, mentioning Kagura first, it would be a clue of like, oh, so whoever this Utsugi is working with Kagura, which means they're working with Naraku.
私が聞いた話だと、城で飼われていた牛が一斉にいなくなったとか、城へ年貢を納めに行った者が誰も帰ってこないとか、とにかく城の周りではおかしなことが起こっているのは確かなようですな。
妖怪が退去して城の方へ行くのを見たって話もあったしね。
妖怪の群れか。奈落の匂いがプンプンするな。
そう。それでその城ってどこにあるの？
ここからだと鼓の村を通るのが早いでしょうな。
じゃあまずはその鼓の村だね。
帰ってきたばかりだというのにもう出発ですか？なんとも忙しいことです。
二人とも疲れているのにごめんね。
And here we're gonna get another deviation between Mitra and Kaname. Both of them do both apologize to Miroku and Sango for wanting to be so urgent to head to the castle, because Kururugi's biggest priority, get home. That's what they want more than anything. And yet, Miroku and Sango just returned to Kaede's village from the castle and through Suzumi village, so of course they're going to be pretty tired, so...
気遣ってくれるのですか？なんと優しい。
But Miroku's response is different. It is slightly unique. It is largely the same between Mitra and Kaname, but slight difference regarding Kaname, where he believes that Kaname is showing more concern over him specifically, rather than everyone else, rather than Sango as well. Let's see. In the English version, Miroku says, "Thank you for being concerned about me. You're very kind." Let's see here. From the screenshot, Miroku is apparently saying, "You even notice? How kind of you." Which I feel isn't exactly worded right, and possibly even missing something, so let's check the text. From the text translation, Miroku says, "You've noticed. How kind of you." Oh, one moment.
で、そういうわけじゃ。
Let's see. But then, of course, if you're playing as Kaname, Kaname does have a unique response to this as a result. So in the English version, Kaname responds to Miroku with, "It's not like that." From the translating off of the screenshots, Kaname is apparently responding with, "So that's why." I don't know about that. The text translation for Kaname comes out as, "Well, that's why." I honestly don't know. I'll have to think on that on my own, but I mean, I'm simply translating and just doing the best I can.
照れることはありませんよ。
But of course, Miroku has a bit more. In the English version, Miroku continues with, "Don't be shy." While from the screenshot translation, Miroku continues with, "There's no need to be embarrassed." The text translation result is a little weird, apparently having Miroku say, "when you feel like it." I mean, if I wanted to directly compare to the English versions, "Don't be shy," the screenshot translation being, "There's no need to be embarrassed," makes the most sense. But again, I would have to see about messing with what Miroku and Kaname had just said prior to try and make that work.
だからそういうことじゃ。
Let's see. In the English version, Kaname responds with, "You're misunderstanding me." But from the screenshot translation, Kaname's is apparently saying, so that's how it is. From the text translation, though, no, it comes out the same. All right.
奉仕様、さっさと旅の支度をしなよ。
And then in comes Songo to berate him again. In the English version, Songo says, Ahem, Miroku, you better start preparing for the journey. From the screenshot translation, Songo is apparently saying, Reverend, hurry up and get ready for your trip. Though again, the translator having issues with Hoshi-sama. Going through the text, she says, Monk, hurry up and get ready for your trip. I do think the your trip part could be changed to the trip because like they all need to prepare. Songo's just trying to urge Miroku to do it. But trip could also be translated to journey, so yeah, that's fine.
それではまた後で語らいましょう。
And in the English version, Miroku says, let's talk more later. From the translation off the screenshot, he's apparently saying, well then, let's talk again later. Let's try from just the text. Same result. If I had to reword it, I'd probably have it, the result be, well then, let's talk some more later.
Ah, なんだか先行きが不安だな。
It's nice when I get to translate inner thought dialogue. In the English version, Kaname's inner thoughts are, I wonder what kind of journey this is going to turn out to be. From the screenshot, though, the translation comes out as, I'm kind of worried about the future. Okay, that's a good one. From the text translation, it comes out as, I'm feeling a bit unsure about the future. No, that's pretty good, honestly. But then we line back up.
おやおや、帰ったと思ったらもう出発するのか？少しは休んでいったらどうだい？
そうね。体力を回復してから出発した方がいいかもしれないわね。
その通りだ。今日はゆっくりと休むがよい。
With Kaede offering, like, suggesting that we stay to rest a bit.
InuYasha どうですか、InuYasha様。今日は一日休みということになさってはいかがでしょうか？
ああ、休みだって？
Just gonna check to see if there was anything Kaname specific here.
どういうことです？
先日のように 気の合ったお相手と二人一組でお過ごしなされては。
そうね。ちょっと息抜きも必要だし、みんなとの楽しい時間を過ごしてほしいしね。
いいんじゃない？
それは素晴らしい。犬夜叉にはない優しさと思いやりを感じますね。
なんだと弥勒。
まあ、それでは今日は休みということで。
今日は誰と一緒に過ごしたい？
Okay, no, there wasn't. Of course, we will be going with Miroku, but I do think this is a good spot to take another quick break. And we're back. Now, let's get this romance started, shall we?
お付き合いいたしましょう。
And then just the usual, like, I don't really need to translate this, it's just the character saying, like, sure, I'll go with you.
ほら、ブラブラと散歩でもしてくるとすっか。
いいの。オラも付き合うぞ。
じゃあ私は散歩に行こうかな。
私も付き合うよ。
それでは参りましょうか。
Alright then.
今日は天気もいいし、散歩にでも行きましょうか。
In the English version, Miroku says, such good weather. Why don't we go for a walk? Let's see, the translation off the screenshot is pretty close, with Miroku apparently saying, the weather is nice today. How about we go for a walk? Let's just throw the text in, just in case. Alright, same result.
弥勒様。
And then Kaname just pretty much agreeing. In the English version, she says, okay, Miroku. From the translation, it's coming out as, yes, Miroku-sama. Even though that first bit could just be taken as Kaname nodding in agreement, but then I'm not sure why I should be saying Miroku's name then, so I'd probably say a better translation could be sure, Miroku. Kaname adding the Sama honorific at the end, though, as a sign of respect, same way Miroku does with Kagome, saying it as Kagome-sama. Unlike how InuYasha just calls him Miroku, or instead of just calling him Miroku-san. Again, just kind of showing respect because he's a Buddhist monk. Like, you just kind of gotta respect him on that.
では、早速参りましょう。
Let's see. In the English version, Miroku says, well then, let's go. From the screenshot translation, Miroku says, well then, let's get started. I do think it could be reworded to, well then, let's get going. Let's see what the text result gives. No, same result as the screenshot. Let's get started. Yeah. I mean, sure, I could take that. I still think let's get going would work too.
時にお前もカゴメ様同様違う時代からやってきたのでしたな。
In the English version, Miroku says, "So, like Kagome, you came from a different era." From the screenshot translation, Miroku says, "You, like Lady Kagome, also come from a different time." Let's see what the text result is. Same result. Okay. Kaname, kind of appropriately taken aback by this, I guess, Miroku just bringing this up all of a sudden. In the English version, Kaname responds with, "Huh? Oh, yes. The screenshot translation didn't really give anything. Will the text even really give anything? I kinda doubt it. But let's try it. I mean, yeah, no, it does actually kind of give something, with the translation apparently being like, yes. But yeah, like, Kaname's hesitating because she's just kind of going like, why is this the first thing you want to discuss with me?
時を超えるということがどんなことかさすがにわかりませんが。
Oh shit, it's a two-parter. Alright. In the English version... Oh, come on. In the English version, Miroku says, "I can't imagine what it is like to travel through time." From the screenshot translation, Miroku is apparently saying, "I don't really know what it means to travel through time." I mean, I do kind of like the wording on that. The text translation result also isn't all that bad, with Miroku apparently saying, "I don't really understand what it means to travel through time."
ふるさとを遠く離れる寂しさ、誰も頼れない不安は私にも覚えがあります。
In the English version, he says, "I remember a time when I missed my home and had no one to rely on." From the screenshot translation, Miroku says, "The loneliness of being far away from home, the anxiety of having no one to rely on." I remember that too. Let's grab the text real quick and add it on. There we go. That comes out a little bit better. Putting the two halves together for a text translation, Miroku is apparently saying, "I don't really understand what it means to travel through time. I know the loneliness of being far away from home, the anxiety of having no one to rely on." I do think I'd add a little something to it, though. And have it be, "But I do know the loneliness of being far away from home, and the anxiety of having no one to rely on." Just to preface, well, I guess not really preface because we're partway into this, the dialogue between Miroku and Dimitru here is very different. Because with this case, Miroku is trying to find some kind of common ground with Kaname to try and get Kaname to get closer to him. Or for him to get closer to her. For Mitru's version, though, it's more Mitru trying to learn more about Miroku and kind of not getting anywhere. Kaname's response, though, just saying Miroku's name, like, she's trying to be like sympathetic of like, okay, okay, you're trying to understand me.
遠慮することはない。泣きたくなったら私の胸でお泣きなさい。
In the English version, Miroku continues with, "Don't be sad. If you want to cry, you can cry on my shoulder." Translating off the screenshot, though, Miroku is apparently saying, "There's no need to cry. If you feel like crying, cry on my chest." I mean, I feel like that's a cultural difference. English going with "you can cry on my shoulder" is like, yeah, the whole being a shoulder to cry on, someone that you pretty much go to vent. I think this is pretty much. I do think this is pretty much supposed to be similar to that. But I think he might also be trying to go literally. The text translation result here, though, raises some questions, because it apparently is translating Miroku as saying, "Before we had our wedding, if you feel like crying, cry on my chest." I don't know where the wedding part came from, or what that has to do with anything here. Unless this result is trying to make it seem like Miroku is rushing as hell. I do think I'd go with the result from the screenshot translation of "there's no need to cry" to go off of the English version's "don't be sad." And then pretty much the "if you want to cry, if you feel like crying, cry on my chest" as the comparison to "if you want to cry, you can cry on my shoulder."
お話が難しくてよくわからないんだけど、とりあえず遠慮しときますね。
And Miroku approaching Kaname. Get a little close there, bud. In the English version, Kaname responds with, "I don't really understand what you're saying, but I'm okay for now." Okay, this is interesting. From the screenshot translation, Kaname is apparently saying, well, it's a complicated story, and I don't really understand it, but I'll give it a go for now. I don't know, something about that doesn't seem right, so let's see what just the text does. Especially since there's another part to this. Okay, using just the text, this part comes out as, well, it's a complicated story, and I don't really understand it, but I'll just give it a go. Alright, what's the other half?
それに弥勒様、ちょっと近づきすぎ。
Oh, hold on. I need to... give me a moment. I just need to find something. That on. Okay, so copying the text from the previous one actually was missing something. So just to go back to the first half of what Kaname said, the translation result from just the text now comes out as, well, it's a complicated story and I don't really understand it, but I'll give it a go for now. Which matches up with what the screenshot had. So now let's actually grab this part. Let's see, in the English version, Kaname continued with, and Miroku, you're a little too close. From the screenshot translation, Kaname says, and Miroku-sama, you got a little too close. Plug that in. Okay, no, this works out a bit better. So putting the two halves together, the text translation result from Kaname is, well, your story is complicated and I don't really understand it. But I'll give you a heads up for now. Also, Miroku-sama, you're getting a little too close.
これは意外なことを。私はただあなたのためならばと。
In the English version, Miroku says, "This was unexpected. I'm just doing this for you." From the screenshot, the translation from Miroku comes out as, "That's unexpected. I just wanted to do it for you." And from the text, comes out as, "That's unexpected. I was just doing this for you." And Kaname either being incredibly confused or getting incredibly flustered. In the English version, Kaname responded, "I'm fine, thanks." The translation off the screenshot is a little weird. Apparently having Kaname say, "Kind of." Let's grab the text, see if that changes anything, because it seems a little weird. There we go. That's better. The text translation from Kaname comes out as, "No thanks." Which, yeah, no, that makes sense. Because she's not ready for that quite yet. Oh. Kagome and Sango. Okay. I know what this one is. Yeah.
ねえ、知ってる？黄色って金運が良くなる色なんだって。
I can't really translate these scenes because, again, they're random and I don't know if or where / when I may have gotten them in the English version. So I can't really, like, yeah, I can translate it or put it through a translator, but I don't have a reliable way of comparing it. So this is just gonna have to stay. But basically, they're getting flowers, and they're making accessories with them, I think is the idea here. It's been a while since I've seen this one. I don't think they're making flower crowns, because that one's a little specific to the Kagome route event. But I know they're trying to make something. And they're doing it for certain other characters in the group.
ありがとう。はい、お返し。怪我や病気をしませんように。ありがとう。あ、そうだ。ねえ、サンゴちゃん、何色だっけ？何が？心が広くなる色。それどうするの？誰かさんにあげるの。誰かさんってもしかして犬夜叉。犬夜叉。
Although, considering Songo also said, I think they're trying to imagine InuYasha wearing whatever they're making, and they're just kind of like, oh, that would be hilarious. I don't remember. Huh? Common thing. Like Japanese saying, or like a thing in Japan, if you suddenly sneeze and you're not getting sick, likelihood is because someone's talking about you behind your back.
Oh, みんな疲れが取れたようだな。
Yeah, in the English version for the, when I played the English version earlier in the year, I instead got a scene between InuYasha and Kagome, so I definitely couldn't have translated the one that just happened. Let's see. Mitra and Kaname do have similar interactions here, but I do need to make a translation because there are subtle changes based on whether you're playing as Mitra or Kaname. In the English version, Kaede says, "It looks like you all had a good rest." The translation of the screenshot came off really weird, with Kaede apparently saying, "Well, it looks like everyone's tired now." I think it should be well rested. Or awake. Let's just double check that. Yeah, no, text translation still comes out as looks like everyone's tired. I do think it should instead be well rested.
支度もできたし、そろそろ鼓の村に出発するね。
let's see here. In the English version, Kaname says, yes, and now we're all prepared. We should be on our way to Suzumi Village. From the screenshot translation, Kaname says, yes, now that we've done what we wanted, it's time to head to Suzumi Village. Let's just double check with the text. Okay, the text translation result has Kaname saying, yeah, I've got what I wanted, so it's about time to head to Suzumi Village. I think I'd change the I've got what I wanted, or now that we've done what we wanted, to we have what we need. I don't know, that just feels like it might be a bit better.
そうか、ちょうどよかった。荷物になるとは思うが、これを持っていくがよい。
In the English version, Kaede says, good timing. I don't want to be adding to your baggage, but you should take this. From the screenshot translation, Kaede says, I see. I think this will be just the right luggage, so take this with you. Let's see. From the text translation, Kaede is apparently saying, I see. I think this will be a good piece of luggage, but I hope it's okay to carry this. I do think I kind of prefer the English version's take here. Of Kaede being like, I don't want to impose, but I do think it would be a good idea for you to take this.
これは袴?
And in English, Kaname's response is a pair of old-fashioned pants. While from the screenshot translation, Kaname asks, is this Hakama? Or Hakama? Damn, I can't remember if it was Hakama or Hakama. Which, again, they, like, sure... actually, no, like, Hakama isn't even specifically old-fashioned pants because they're still worn in Japan. So the English version just calling them old-fashioned pants is weird, especially given on the first day off event with Kagome, they explicitly point out that Kagome is making a bento box. Like, come the fuck on. Sorry, I'll be back in one moment. Sorry about that.
わしが若かりし頃の服だ。
Let's see. In the English version, this is where it differentiates from Michiru. Because in the English version, Kaede says, I used to wear them when I was young. The implication being that the hakama that Kaede just gave to Kaname are the ones that she wore when she was younger. Which the Google Translate result off the screenshot seems to imply. With the translation being, yes, it's the clothes I wore when I was younger. The reason I say that is the English version gives more a sense of they're similar clothes to what Kaede wore when she was younger, but from the translation result, these are explicitly the same clothes that Kaede wore. Let's see. But, second half.
今回は長旅になりそうだし、着替えがないとお主も困るだろ
う。In the English version, Kaede continued with, it's going to be a long journey, so a change of clothes will come in handy. From the screenshot translation, Kaede continues with, it looks like it will be a long journey this time, so you will be in trouble if you don't have a change of clothes. Feels a bit weird that you wouldn't offer similar to Kagome or the others. If you're playing as Michiru, Kaname won't say that these are the clothes that Kaede wore when she was younger because male-specific coloring. So definitely implied that the hakama that Michiru gets are specifically men's hakama. Otherwise, they both get it looks like it'll be a long journey, so may as well take a change of clothes. But taking the two halves from Kaede for Kaname's side, the translation through text comes out as, yes, these are the clothes I wore when I was younger. It looks like it's going to be a long journey today, so you'd be in trouble if you didn't have a change of clothes. I think I'd actually go off the screenshots translation here of it looks like it will be a long journey this time rather than it looks like we're going on a long journey today. Because, the journey's going to take more than a day. But, as you do.
そうね。何があるかわからないし、借りておいた方がいいかもね。ありがとう、楓おばあちゃん。
And then it's pretty much the same.
いや、それでは気をつけていくのだぞ。
Between Mitra and Kaname from here.
うん、行ってくるね。
Let's just... No, that's not what I wanted. Nope. This one. No, honestly, that's fine. Just may as well have Miroku following. Then I just need to check on something quick. Yeah, okay. Hi, Kakuju.
おお、そうだった。お前さんたちに渡そうと思っていたものがあったのじゃ。
Again, dialogue is the exact same as if you were playing as Michiru, regardless of Kakuju's gender, because it's the same topic.
そこの奉仕殿ならきっと役立てることができるはず。さあ、持って行くがよい。
お札ですか？
ああ、ちょっとしたまじないを込めておいた。共に戦う時には力を発揮することじゃろう。
ありがとうございます、各自様。
よいよい、わしもそろそろ出発するとしよう。それではな。
いいもの見つけちゃった。
Ah, here we go. And this is a Kaname-specific interaction. This location, if I remember right, has 2 that are specific to Kaname. If you're playing as Michiru, he just has 1 here where he inquires Miroku about his profession. And thinks Songo hates him for some weird reason. In the English version, Kaname just yelps with an ouch. Which is also what the text here translates to, so, alright.
どうかしましたか？
Let's see. In the English version, Miroku asks, "Are you alright?" From the screenshot, the translation from Miroku apparently comes out as, "What's wrong?" Let's see if the text comes up with anything different. No, same thing. Okay.
そこに茨が踏んじゃったみたい。
Let's see. In the English version, Kaname says, "I think I stepped on a thorn." From the screenshot, the translation from Kaname is, "There was a thorn there. I stepped on it." Using just the text, Kaname is apparently saying, "There's a thorn there. I think I stepped on it." Which actually was what I was thinking of changing the screenshots translation to. Although, like, probably more to, "There's a thorn. I think I stepped on it." But yeah, no, like the text translation, "There's a thorn there. I think I stepped on it." Or, "I must have stepped on it." Like, yeah, that works. That works better, I think.
いけない。トゲが刺さってますな。抜いて差し上げましょう。
Let's see. In the English version, Roku says, "Oh no, there's a thorn in your foot. Let me take it out." The translation from the screenshot's a little weird, though. Apparently, it has Miroku saying, "Oh no, there's a thorn stuck in your hair. Let me pull it out for you." Except he's kneeling down, so it should be, like, in her foot or her shoe. The text translation result is interesting. Like, it's not as weird as the screenshots, "There's a thorn stuck in your hair." But from just the text, the translation from Miroku is apparently, "Oh no, there's a thorn stuck in it. Let me cut it off for you." And... so I do think the English version was closer, but I probably, for the translation, have it be, "Oh no, there's a thorn stuck in your foot. Let me pull it out for you," instead of the, "Let me take it out." I don't need to translate that. That's, like, that's not even text, so, like, Kaname's just kind of looking at Songo walking away and huffing and just being like, I'm probably pissing her off because he's giving me attention." And that's it for now, but there, like I said, I'm pretty sure there's a second part here. I think I can go out from this way. Or I can get into a fight. Sure. I mean, yeah, it's been a bit. Why not? Oh. Oh, wow. Kagome and Songo learned both of their co-op texts. Okay. I didn't think I'd get them both at the same time, but sure, why not?
InuYasha様、先ほどから運気が変わってきたようでございますぞ。
なんだと？どう変わったってんだよ。
まさに極楽、最高の運気でございます。ただし、油断は大敵ですぞ。
I guess that's the best fortune. I'm not gonna be translating that, because the fortunes honestly don't really mean anything.
よし。負けないわよ。乱れ打ち。やった。うん。行くぞ。爆雷術。
はい。行きますよ。くらえ。よし。これに懲りてもう二度と人を襲うことなどないよ。
Yeah, there is a second one. Just had to look for it in the English version just so I'd have the comparison. Of course.
出よったな。うん。行くぞ。くら
わあ、綺麗な小川。
All right, let's see. This is an interaction that Beatrice does not have an equivalent for. In the English version, Kaname says, "Wow, what a beautiful river." From the screenshot, the translation for Kaname is, "Wow, what a beautiful stream." I mean, same thing, close enough. Text translation is the same result. Okay.
ええ、ちょうどお水もあることですし、少しお休みしていきましょう。
Let's see. In the English version, Miroku says, "Since we're here, we might as well take a little rest." From the screenshot, the translation apparently has Miroku say, "Yes, we have some water, so let's take a little rest." From the text translation, though, Miroku's apparently saying, "Yes, I have some water, so let's take a short rest."
ねえサンゴちゃん、飛来骨を投げるのやっぱりコツがあるんだよね。
And Kagame, always trying to act the mediator, is attempting to distract Sangha. In the English version, Kagame asks, "Hey, Sango, is there a special trick to using the Hiraikots?" Okay, this translation of the screenshot literally translated Hiraiko's, which is flying bones, but the translation result off the screenshot from Kagome comes out as, "Hey Sango, there's a trick to throwing Hiraiko's, right?" Let's just grab the text. See if it comes up with anything different. Nope, same thing. Okay.
それは
And then Sango's just like confused because like Kagome, you've known me for how long? Like you should kind of know that. In the English version, Sango just kind of gives a more distracted yeah. The screenshot translation doesn't come out all that well though. Apparently having Sango say, "Oh, that's it." Moment. Okay, that's a little interesting. From the text translation, Sango is apparently saying, that's... So she doesn't even really respond. She's, again, just kind of distracted. Like, because, oh, like, Miroku's giving the new girl so much attention, like, being his flirty self, which pisses me off, but Kagome is kind of also trying to pull my attention. So, Sango being unable to focus and not really give an answer makes sense.
そうですね。大きさもかなりのものですし。
Let's see. In the English version, Miroku then steps in saying, "Yes, it's quite large." From the screenshot, the translation for Miroku comes out as, "That's right, it's quite large." Let's see. From the text translation, Miroku instead is saying, "That's right, it's quite large too." But it also does continue.
簡単には扱えないでしょうね。
Let's see. Continuation here. In English, Miroku continues with, "and not easy to use." From the screenshot, though, the translation apparently has Miroku say, simply, "I don't think I can handle it." Interesting choice, but let's see what happens. Let's see. Okay, no. This comes out a little better. From the text translation results, Miroku says, "That's right, it's quite large, and it's not easy to handle."
Hiraiko's ってサンゴちゃんの使ってる武器だよね。私も投げてみたいな。
And now Sango has all the attention. In the English version, Kaname says, "Hiraiko's is the weapon that Sango uses, isn't it? I want to learn how to use it, too." From the screenshot, the translation for Kaname comes out as, "The Hiraiko's is the weapon that Sango uses, right? I'd like to try throwing it, too." I mean, that's not too different from what the English version went with. Check the text real quick. Yeah, not too different. Just instead of I'd like to try throwing it too, the text translation came out as I'd like to try throwing it the same way, which I don't think works as well. I'd honestly rather go with the screenshots result.
でも飛来骨を投げるには相当練習しないとダメみたいね。
In the English version, Kagome says, but you need lots of practice to be able to use the haraikots. From the screenshot, the translation from Kagome comes out as, but it seems like you need to practice a lot to be able to throw haraikots. The text translation isn't too different, coming out more like, but it looks like... okay, there's two ways to take it. Either as it came out, with having Kagome say, but it looks like I'll need to practice before I can throw the haraikots. The implication there being that even Kagome would like to try throwing it at some point. Or reword it to, but it looks like you'll need to practice before you can throw the haraikots. With the idea that Kagome is directing it at Kaname.
そうだね。
In the English version, Kaname says, yes, I suppose you're right. From the screenshot translation, Kaname says, yeah, that's right. Let's see what the text comes out as, because I think there's a possibility that I'd go with instead. No, okay, the text translation isn't too bad, with Kururugi apparently saying, yeah, that's true. The option that I had in mind would be for the translation result from Kaname to be, yeah, you have a point. Because it would still work, it would still match the context.
何そのか弱い体で飛来骨をそういうことなら手取り足取りお手伝いいたしますよ。
Let's see. This one's a two-parter. From Miroku, in the English version, he says, you're a little small to be using it, but if you really want to learn, I'll help you step by step. Okay, Miroku. From the screenshot, though, translation does need to be fixed up a little bit. The translation result off the screenshot for Miroku says, what, you're trying to catch the haraikots with that frail body? If that's the case, I'll help you step by step. I mean, it does start with Nani, so I do think the what does need to be there still. But instead of trying to catch the haraikots, it should be you're trying to throw. Because that's what the conversation is about, like, learning how to throw the thing. Let's just grab the text real quick. Yeah, the text translation is a little better with having Rogue say, what? You're trying to throw the haraikots with that frail body? If that's the case, I'll help you step by step.
二人でならなんとかなるでしょうから。ね、サンゴ。
And then, to close off here, in the English version, Roku says, I'm sure with both of us teaching, she should be able to pick it up. From the screenshot, the translation result for Miroku comes out as, if it's just the two of us, I'm sure it'll work out somehow. Right, Songo? Let's throw that in with the text, see what happens when it has both ends. Okay, so with both ends, the text translation from Miroku comes out as, what? You're trying to throw the Haraikots with that frail body? If that's the case, I'll help you step by step. If it's just the two of us, I'm sure we can manage it. Right, Songo?
勝手にすれば
Let's see here. In the English version, Songo just kind of gives a frustrated, sure, fine. From the screenshot, Songo's translation comes out as, do as you please. Which is also what the text translation comes out as. Alright. I mean, yeah, understandable if she's frustrated with Miroku because, again, he's giving Kaname so much attention. And being a womanizer, because, of course.
サンをそう釣れなくせんでも
In the English version, Miroku says, Songo, don't be so cold. But from the screenshot, the translation for Miroku comes out as, Songo, don't be so rude. Honestly, given the translation result for what Songo said from Japanese, Miroku calling her rude makes sense. Whereas the English version, considering she was a lot more dismissive, Miroku saying that she's being cold makes sense. So it really depends on how Songo's responding. From the text translation result for Miroku, he says, Songo, you don't have to be so rude. And Kaname not.
私、もしかしてサンゴちゃんに嫌われてるのかな
Here we go. Now for Kaname's thoughts on the matter. The English version, Kaname's thoughts are, I don't think Songo likes me very much. From the screenshot, the translation for Kaname's inner thoughts is, maybe Songo hates me? Mitra's equivalent was in the scene prior, again, when he was asking about Miroku's profession and, like, if he could really do all the stuff required of a monk. And when Songo doesn't give a response, Mitra thinks that Songo doesn't like him. From the text translation, though, Kaname's inner thoughts are apparently, maybe Songo hates me too? I don't know where the two comes from. I think I'd reword the translation to, could it be that Songo hates me? Because it would still fit with that context. So I'm hoping I wouldn't get into a fight, but okay. whatever.
倒すわよ絶対。
しゃあ往生しやがれ鬼神結晶。
Honestly, though, I'm still baffled that the Hidaiko does more damage than, considering it's supposedly one of Sango's earliest normal techniques, compared to her latest, which is the chain attack. Oh, whoops, I accidentally used the hidden weapon.
Yes.
Well, now I know which one not to pick. Alright, Miroku, the only thing you're good for.
これではどうです？風間！成敗いたしましたな。
But with that, oh, why does it still show Kagome? That should have changed to Miroku. Either way, we're gonna go for one more quick break. And we're back.
Oh, やっと鼓の村に着いたか。
ここが鼓の村なんだね。
お助けを。
え、何？あ、妖怪！おじさん、早くこっちに。
なんだお前ら、邪魔すると一緒に食っちまうぞ。
面白いじゃねえか。やれるもんならやってみな。
よし。
燃え盛る炎よ、
光の刃となれ。
Okay.
仕事にもねえやつだぜ。
ありがとうございました。この辺も物騒になって、村祭りの買い物に外に出たらいきなり襲われて、どうなることかと思いましたよ。
まあおめえ、俺たちに会うなんて運が良かったよな。
うん、とにかく無事でよかったよ。
いやしかし本当に助かりました。皆様旅の途中とお見受けしたが、よろしければ今日は私の家へお泊まりにならんか。いや、命を助けてもらったお礼じゃ。ぜひお越しくだされ。
私たちそういうつもりで。
いやいや、そこまで言われては断るのもかえって失礼ですな。
って弥勒様。あ、でもお布団で寝られるのは嬉しいかも。もうかごめちゃんまで。
Okay, so I don't know why, but I thought there might have been a difference with how, with Kaname's inflection here compared to Michiru's in Japanese. Because with the Japanese language, for Michiru, regarding this interaction, it definitely gives more a sense that... Right. Sorry, context. Context is... the person that we just rescued is offering us to stay at his place for the night. And Kururugi is like, but we have, like, we need to get going because we need to reach the castle. That's our objective. But Miroku's like, yeah, no, we could absolutely use a break. And Kururugi is like, hold on, Miroku. And then Kagome's like, just agreeing with Miroku, saying like, yeah, no, we absolutely should and get some good rest and a bath. In the English version, it's a little weirder because it almost seems like Kururugi, both Michiru and Kaname, is admonishing Miroku for it, but thinks that Kagome is the one in the right, even though saying the same thing. From Japanese, it's more Kururugi just would rather get things done and over with, so would rather reach the castle as soon as possible rather than stay the night in Suzumi Village if at all possible. For some reason, I honestly thought Kaname would have been more agreeable to the idea, but it looks like that's not the case. Both Michiru and Kaname in the Japanese version are kind of like, Miroku, Kagome, I'd rather we keep going because I want to get home. I want to be out of here. But majority vote, everyone against Kururugi, so kind of no choice in the matter.
そうと決まれば一緒に来てくだされ。こちらでございます。ここがわしの家でございます。まあ大したものはありませんが、何日でもここにいてくだされ。どのみちこの先の街道は通れませんし。
街道ってお城へ向かう街道のこと？
And then a revelation that, oh, we can't even get to the castle anyway because there's been a landslide.
そうでございます。この間の大雨でな、崖が崩れて、街道が通れんようになっておるのですわ。
それは困ったわね。
ついてませんな。
その割には嬉しそうじゃな、弥勒。
いえいえ、決してそのようなことは。 時にこちらには年頃の娘さんなどはおられませぬか？
は？
そういうことかよ。
まあ半ば想像はしておったが。
あれ、サンゴちゃん、どこへ行くの？
しばらくここにいるのなら今のうちに城の情報でも集めてくるよ。
あの娘さんは退治屋さんなのかな？退治屋の武器を使っておられたが。
ええ、そうですよ。
ほう、退治屋さんとは珍しい。あれ以来全然見なくなってしまいましたからな。
退治屋さん？退治屋さんって何なの？
それは妖怪退治を専門に請け負う退治人のことなのですが。
ええ、退治屋の里っていうところがあって、そこで暮らしてたらしいんだけど。
里か。なんだか忍者みたいだね。
うん。でもサンゴちゃんにはその話は聞かないであげて。
え、どうして？
実はね、退治屋の里は奈落の罠で全滅させられたの。
え、それじゃあサンゴちゃんの家族は？
それは
生き残ったのはサンゴとサンゴの弟だけでした。その弟でさえ今は奈落に捕らえられているのです。
くそ、奈落の野郎。
そう、サンゴちゃんにそんな過去があったなんて。
ただいま。
おう、お疲れ様でした。それで何か情報はありましたか？
あまり人に会えなくて。
そうでしたか。まあ街道も取れないことですし、焦らずに行きましょう。
その通りでございます。ささ、布団の用意もできとりますので、とりあえず今日のところはゆっくりお休みになってください。
ありがとうございます、おじさん。それじゃあおやすみなさい。
皆さん、今日はお休みにしませんか？
おや、弥勒からの提案とは珍しい。
ほんとね。
近くで綺麗な女子でも見つけたのか？
まさか。今日はとても良い天気だからです。
ん？
いや、その
へえ、図星だな。
今日は誰と一緒に過ごしたい？
お付き合いいたしましょう。
ほら、ブラブラと散歩でもしてくるとすっか。
いいの、オラも付き合うぞ。
じゃあ私は散歩に行こうかな。
私も付き合うよ。
それでは参りましょうか。
Alright.
弥勒様、今日は何をするんですか？
In the English version, they made it very explicit that this was where Kaname started falling incredibly hard incredibly fast for Miroku. Let's see if that's the case in the Japanese version. In the English version, Kaname says, "What are you going to do today, Miroku?" From the screenshot, the translation is, "Miroku-sama, what are you doing today?" Let's see. Let's just grab the text. In case it's any different. What are you doing today? Nope, same thing. Okay.
風が流行っているようですし、薬草でも取りに行こうかと。
Let's see. In the English version, Miroku responds with, "There's a cold going around, so I think I'll go gather medicinal herbs." From the screenshot, the translation comes out as, "It seems like a cold is going around, so I think I'll go pick some medicinal herbs." Grabbing the text. Is actually complete nonsense. Alright.
みんなのことを気遣って弥勒様って優しいんですね。
In the English version, Kurugi says, "Miroku, you are too kind. Always thinking about everybody else." From the screenshot, the translation comes out as, "Miroku-sama is so kind. He cares about everyone." I think a little bit of rewording needs to be done there, but let's grab the text real quick to be sure. The text comes out the same. But I think it should be something like, "Miroku-sama, you're so kind. You care about everyone."
"いえいえ、当たり前のことです。では、早速参りましょう。
In the English version, Miroku says, no, it's to be expected." Well, let's go. From the screenshot, Miroku's translation comes out as, no, it's obvious. Let's get started. I don't know about the wording for that translation. The text translation isn't too different. All it changes is the "let's get started" to, well, let's get started. Which, I am willing to keep that part, because, like, yeah, Miroku said that he's going to go collect medicinal herbs, so, yeah, let's get started on that. But change the no, that's obvious to the English version's no, it's to be expected. Does fit a bit better. So probably to, no, that's to be expected.
"良いお天気ですね。
Also, in case I'm mistaken, it wasn't the second day off event, it was the third. My bad. Let's see. In the English version, Rogu says, "It's such good weather." From the screenshot, the translation is, "It's nice weather." let's grab the text. Yeah, okay. Probably rewording it to kind of match the English versions to "It's such nice weather" or "The weather sure is nice."
はい、弥勒様。本当に。
In the English version, Kaname says, "Yes, it is Miroku." The screenshot translation for Kaname comes out as, "Yes, Miroku-sama, truly." The text translation comes out as, "Yes, Miroku-sama, really." I think I would reword that. Probably, like, they might come off a bit more relaxed than how Kururugi seems to be presenting themselves. But I feel like wording it as, "Yeah, Miroku, it really is." Fits, like, would work better.
どうです？ここいらで一休みしませんか？
In the English version, Miroku asks, "Would you like to rest here?" From the screenshot, the translation from Miroku comes out as, "What do you think? Would you like to take a break here?" And the text. From the text translation, Miroku instead asks, "How about it? Why don't we take a break here?" Honestly, either translation result works well. The English version is alright, but the Japanese version does add a little bit more with the "What do you think?" So, pretty much asking twice if Kururugi is okay with doing so.
いいですね。そうしましょう。
Let's see. In the English version, Kururugi responds with, "Sure, why not?" The English version actually makes it seem like Kururugi doesn't really care one way or another, but from the translation result, from the screenshot, Kururugi's response is, "That's a good idea. Let's do that." Fully agreeing with Miroku. So it does feel like different context here. Again, between full agreement and just not caring. From the text, Kururugi instead says, "That sounds good. Let's do that." Yeah, like, there's definitely a different vibe with how Kururugi responds between the English and Japanese version here. The Japanese version keeps finding ways for me to like it more than the English version. Not like it's that hard. Portable heater from Kagome.
本当にいい天気。
Don't need to translate what Miroku was doing because that was just him sighing, like giving a relaxed sigh. Oh. It actually might be this event where Kaname starts falling for him. Because I'm thinking of the extreme case from the third day off event, but there is a case in this one. Let's see, in the English version, Kaname, because now we're getting into specifically Kaname, says, it really is good weather. From the screenshot, the translation for Kaname is, it's really nice weather. Let's see. But from the text, the translation for Kaname is, what beautiful weather. Honestly, I could take either translation result. Though given Kaname almost specifically, I do think what beautiful weather would work a little bit better. And then Miroku just relaxing.
弥勒様、こうして見ると結構かっこいいよね。
And here we go. At least in the English version, this is where Kaname starts falling for him. In the English version, Kaname's inner thoughts are, Miroku is actually quite handsome. Woo! This is a little different, actually. From the screenshot, the translation for Kaname's inner thoughts are, Miroku-sama looks pretty cool like this. Not handsome, cool. So she's not into him, like, the English version has her falling harder and faster than the Japanese version. Holy crap. That's impressive. From the text translation, though, Kaname's inner thoughts are apparently, Miroku-sama, you look pretty cool like this, don't you think? Give me a moment. I want to check something. Okay, if I get rid of the last part, it just comes out as, it's fine, the translation comes out as, Miroku-sama, it's fine to look at it like this, so let's see what that last one is. Okay, Kakoyone apparently translates to, it's cool, isn't it? So... I think... I'd reword the text translation result to Miroku-sama. He looks pretty cool like this, doesn't he? Again, inner thoughts, all thinking to herself.
Ah, そういえば.
But still, different from the English versions, Miroku is actually quite handsome. Instead, she thinks he's cool in the Japanese version. In the English version here, Miroku speaks up with, oh yes. From the screenshot, the translation for Miroku comes out as, ah, that's right. I feel like the text translation result's gonna be the same. It comes out as, oh, I see. I do think, given the scene here, the translation result being, ah, that's right, makes a bit more sense, considering what he's about to do.
Hi.
I don't need to translate that. That's just Kaname going, yes. But in the English version, for whatever reason, they instead have her say, what? Although, considering Miroku had just said... uh-oh. There we go. Yeah, considering Miroku's, in the English version, Miroku said, oh yes, having Kaname respond with, what, does make sense. But with the Japanese version, if he's saying, ah, that's right, having her suddenly go, yes, makes sense as well. Like, makes sense in that regard.
私、まんじゅうを持っていました。
Let's see. In the English version, Miroku says, I just remembered I have some sweet bean buns. From the screenshot, Miroku apparently just says, I had some manju. I feel like there should be more to that, so let's throw that in the text. No, it comes out the same. I had some manju. I think I'd reword it to I have some manju with me. I think that would work.
くれるんですか？ありがとうミロク様。いただきます。
Let's see, in the English version, Kaname says, I can have one? Thank you, Miroku. Yummy! From the... Interesting. From the screenshot, the translation for Kaname comes out as, oh, can you give it to me? Thank you, Miroku-sama. Let's eat. I mean, itadakimasu can also be read as thank you for the food. Okay. The text translation result comes out a little better. With the result being, are you giving it to me? Oh, thank you, Miroku-sama. Thank you. Like, I am fine with most of it. I just changed that last thank you to thank you for the food.
美味しいですか?
Let's see here. In the English version, Miroku asks, is it good? While from the screenshot, the translation from Miroku is it delicious? I think another possibility could be, does it taste good? But is it delicious also works. English versions, is it good also works too. In the English version, Kaname answers, yes, it is. I don't really need to throw this into a translator, though. That's just Kaname saying... essentially saying the same thing. Yes, it is.
そうだよね。ミロク様って基本的にはいい人だし、2枚目なんだよね。
Let's see. In the English version, Kaname's inner thoughts are, I guess Miroku is basically a good person. And he's good looking, too. Again, the English version getting Kaname to fall for him pretty freaking hard, pretty fast. Let's throw that on. From the screenshot, the translation for Kaname comes out as... If it would hurry. And I think it broke. One moment. Let's try that again. Okay! That's interesting. From the screenshot, Kaname's inner thoughts are apparently, that's right, Miroku is basically a good person and a handsome guy. Let's see what happens if I throw that in the... if I just grab the text and throw that in. That's a little better, honestly. From just the text, the translation for Kaname comes out as, that's right, Miroku is a good person in his own right, and a handsome guy. Alright, so this is when, in the Japanese version, Kaname starts falling for him.
それはさっきそこのお地蔵様に備えてあったやつです。
Let's see. In the English version, Miroku says, I took them from the stone statue we just passed. From the screenshot, the translation for Miroku comes out as, that is the one that was placed before the Jizo statue over there earlier. Yeah, I don't know why the English version wouldn't have had Miroku say the Jizo statue instead of stone statue, because in Akebi Village, there is a character who refers to the statues as Jizo statues. So, why? But from the text, Miroku says, that's the one that was offered to the Jizo statue over there earlier. Wording-wise, I do like the results from the text translation over the screenshot translation.
そんなことしても
Oh no, that first bit was good because that is not from the that is not present in the English version. But that's supposed to be Kaname gulping down the food in shock. So ignoring that part. Actually, no, let's do the English one first. Yeah, the English version went differently, and just had Kaname go, huh? You can't do that! But from the Japanese version, it gives the feeling that Kaname was in the middle of eating the manju when Miroku says that he took it from the statue. So, out of shock, instead of spitting it out and possibly choking on it, she just gulps it down. And it's like, I'm sorry, you what? From the screenshot translation, ignoring the gulp, Kaname apparently says, even if you do something like that, although I feel like that's not even finished, so let's grab the text and throw that in. Let's get rid of that. Okay, the text does seem a little weird to me. Apparently translating it as Kaname saying, well, that was about it. I do feel like both translations are a little iffy here, so I think just kind of going off of the English versions, you can't do that to, I'd probably have it to, I don't think you're allowed to do that.
仏に備えたということは、私に備えたも同じこと。
Let's see. In the English version, Miroku here says, giving something to Buddha is the same thing as giving it to me. From the screenshot, the translation result has Miroku saying, offering it to the Buddha is the same as offering it to me. So, not too different. And would line up with the likely, I don't think you're allowed to do that. From the text translation result, the wording is different, but pretty much means the same thing, with the translation being providing for the Buddha is the same as providing for me. So honestly, the English version, the translation from the screenshot, and the translation from the text all fit just fine. In the English version, Kururugi just replies with, okay. I think, in this case for the Japanese version, you could have it be either sure or right. Because otherwise the food would spoil.
いたずらに腐らせるより、こうしていただいた方がためになるというものです。
So if someone needs to eat it, may as well be the monks passing by. Otherwise, like, again, it'll go bad, or animals or demons might take it, or someone else will. In the English version, yeah, Miroku even pretty much explains it. In the English version, Miroku says, rather than letting it go bad, it is much more beneficial to take them. From the screenshot, the translation result for Miroku is, rather than letting it go to waste, it's better to receive it like this. Let's grab the text. From the text translation, Miroku apparently says, in the end, it is more beneficial to receive than to cause unnecessary hardship. I think wording-wise, the screenshot translation is better, but I think I'd go for a mix between the screenshot translation result and the English version, having it be, rather than letting it go to waste, it is much more beneficial to take them.
そうなんですか?
Let's see here. In the English version, Kaname questions, is that right? From the screenshot, the translation result for Kaname is, really? From the text, I feel like it might come out the same, or otherwise it could come out as, is that so? Which I think I'd probably go with that instead. Yeah, okay, the text translation came out as, really? But again, I think I would go with essentially the English version take, just slightly different with, is that so?
やっぱりうさんくさいな。ほんとこれさえなければ。
And then Kaname's inner thoughts in the English version is, his actions are kind of dubious. If only he didn't have these shortcomings. From the screenshot, the translation result for Kaname is, it sure does seem fishy. If only this hadn't happened. Interesting. Let's see what the text comes out with. The text translation's not too different, with it being, this really does seem fishy. If only this hadn't happened. So again, the English version seems to be playing more into Kaname falling for Miroku faster. Since, the English version had Kaname's end with, if only he didn't have these shortcomings, implying that he'd be much more attractive. While from the Japanese version, and at least from the translation results I'm getting, Kaname is more lamenting the fact that essentially they ate stolen food, and now Kururugi feels guilty about it. Rather than it being Kaname taking issue with Miroku specifically. The Japanese version really only had one instance where she remarked on him being handsome, compared to the English version technically having 3. Or being attractive, not handsome. Whatever.
どこに
随分とお疲れのようですな。皆様早くから情報集めとかで外に行かれましたよ。目が覚めたらあなた様も情報を聞いて回るようにとのご伝言です。
ああ、やっちゃった。私も急いで行かなくちゃ。
But honestly, I do think that's a good bit of ground to cover, because we got 2 day off events with Miroku out of it. As well as dealt with, one, translating something that I hadn't encountered before in all my years of playing this game, and translating something that I was incredibly curious about. With that, I think we'll call it. So until next time, this has been the Azure Guardian. See ya.